Third, as reported by Moni and Ruby, in the bracket, the listeners. Yesterday, Dr. Sain told us that he was our friend's physician. We told him that we were his neighbors. Third, as reported by Dr. Sain, in the brackets, the speaker. Yesterday, I told Moni and Ruby that I was their friend's physician. Moni and Ruby said that they were my neighbors. Note the changes in pronouns. Use your common sense to change the pronouns. Normally, in real life situations, we do not report every sentence. Conversations and talks are reported in a summary form. Second, expressions like addressing his friend by the name of Raman, etc., and mechanical conversation of it into that, etc., should be avoided. Stress should be laid on reflecting the true mood of the passage rather than to be just strictly correct. The report should be readable in the first place. Look at the following examples. Vimal, I am sorry. I missed today's match between Mohun Bagan and East Bengal. Could you tell me the result of the match, please? Ranin. Mohun Bagan won the match 2-0. Debu scored the first goal in the 3rd minute while Hira scored the other in the 26th minute. First, this dialogue as reported by Kamal, a third person. Bimal was sorry to miss the match between East Bengal and Mohun Bagan. He learned from Ranin that Mohun Bagan had won the match 2-0, in which Debu and Hira had scored a goal each. Second, this dialogue was as reported by Bimal, the speaker, the next day. I was sorry to miss yesterday's match between Mohun Bagan and East Bengal, but I learned from Ranin that Mohun Bagan had won the match 2-0. Debu and Hira scoring a goal each. Third, this dialogue as reported by Ranin, the listener. Vimal was sorry to miss today's match between Mohun Bagan and East Bengal and asked me about the result. I told him that Mohun Bagan had won it 2-0, Debu and Hira scoring a goal each. Page number 238. Here are some more examples. B. Raju. Kanu, where are you going? Kanu, I am going to meet Appu and his family. Raju, don't be late. We shall have to attend a party in the evening. First, as reported by Raju, the speaker, when I learnt from Kanu that he was going to meet Appu and his family, I advised him not to be late as we should have to attend a party in the evening. Second, as reported by Kanu, the listener. When Raju learnt on inquiry that I was going to meet Appu and his family, he advised me not to be late as we should have to attend a party in the evening. Third, as reported by Partha, a third person. When Raju learnt on inquiry that Kanu was going to meet Appu and his family, he advised him not to be late as they would have to attend a party in the evening. C. Mother. What have you got in your hand? Ben. A whistle, mother. Mother. How much did you pay for it? Ben. All the money father gave me yesterday. Mother. What? Did you give all the money for that little thing? Ben. Yes, and I think I have made a good bargain. Ben's mother reports this to his father the same day. Today, I saw a whistle in Ben's hand. On inquiry, I came to know that he had spent all the money you had given him yesterday to buy the whistle. He seems to think that he had made a good bargain. D. On 26th July, Mr. Misra came to Mr. Datta's house in the afternoon. Mr. Misra. Good afternoon. Is Mr. Datta at home? Kumar. I am afraid he is still at the office. Mr. Mishra. Oh. Mr. Mishra: Oh, I have already rung up at the office, but I could not get him there. Would you give him a message, please? It is about a meeting on Friday. I am sorry, I will be away on that day. So I wonder if we can postpone our meeting until next week. I will ring back your father as soon as possible. Kumar: Yes, I'll give him the message. First, report by a third person. Mr. Mishra came to Mr. Datta's house on 26th July in the afternoon and learnt that Mr. Datta was still at his office. He left a message with Kumar, his son, that he would be away on Friday, the date on which a meeting has been fixed. He wondered if the meeting could be postponed to the following week. He would, of course, ring back as soon as possible. Second, as reported by Mr. Mishra, the speaker. I went to Mr. Datta's house on 26 July in the afternoon and learned that Mr. Datta was still at his office. I left a message with Kumar, his son, that I would be away on Friday, the date on which a meeting had been fixed, and so wondered if the meeting could be postponed to the following week. I would, of course, ring back as soon as possible. Third, as reported by Kumar to Mr. Datta the next day. Mr. Mishra came to our house yesterday in the afternoon and learned that you were still at your office. He left a message that he would be away on Friday when a meeting had been fixed with you. He wondered if the meeting could be postponed to the following week. He would, of course, ring you back as soon as possible. 239. E. Study the following telephonic conversation in two forms: the actual speech, that is direct, and the reported speech, which is indirect. Actual conversation. Sunil: Hello. Subir: Hello. Could I speak to Tushar? Sunil: I am afraid he is out. Can I take the message? Subir: Oh, well, this is Subir here. I was wondering if Tushar will be free this afternoon. I am going to the book exhibition. I'd like him to come with me if he is free. When will he be back? Sunil: He won't be long. He's just gone out to get some stamps and envelopes. I don't think he is doing anything this afternoon. Subir: Well, can you tell him I shall wait for him at the gate at 2 p.m.? If he doesn't turn up by 2:15, I'll go in. Sunil: Yes, I'll tell him. Goodbye. Subir: Goodbye. Thank you. Reported conversation. Here is Sunil's reported speech. He reports to Tushar about the telephone call from Subir when Tushar comes back. When you were out, Subir telephoned. He wanted to know if you would be free this afternoon. He is going to the book exhibition. He would like you to go with him if you were free. He wanted to know when you would be back. I said that you won't be long, and I didn't think you were doing anything. He said he'd wait for you at the gate at 2 p.m. and if you didn't turn up by 2:15 p.m., he'd go in. Note: first, Sunil is reporting to Tushar that very day, though some time later. Hence, the corresponding past forms of verbs are used in the actual conversation. Only one verb form, is going, is in the present form, indicating futurity. Second, the use of pronoun he, you and I. Third, not every sentence from the beginning to the end has been reported. It is not necessary. It is the message which is important. The other bits at the beginning and end are conventional ways of talking on the phone and do not have to be reported. In your grammar class or examination paper, however, every sentence has to be changed into the reported or indirect form. 405. To summarize, 405. To summarize a dialogue is to say in a few words what the main points are. Set out these points, leaving out details, for example, unless they are necessary to understand the summary. Here is an example. Swapan: I have often noticed that you avoid walking under ladders. Why? Are you superstitious? Jyotsna: Of course not. I avoid it because I feel it is dangerous. By the way, I heard your examination starts from tomorrow. I'll keep my fingers crossed, hoping for your success. Swapna: There you are. Keeping fingers crossed is a sure sign of being superstitious. The main points in the above dialogue between Swapna and Jyotsna are: first, Swapna wants to know if Jyotsna is superstitious. Second, Jyotsna says that she is not superstitious. Third, Jyotsna explains that she avoids walking under ladders because it can be dangerous. Fourth, when Jyotsna says that she will keep her fingers crossed, she shows that she is sometimes superstitious. The summary of the above dialogue might be: Swapna asked Jyotsna if she was superstitious. Jyotsna replied that she was not. She avoided walking under ladder not out of superstition, but because it could be dangerous. Later, she offered to cross her fingers for Swapna's success in the examination, showing that she was superstitious after all. Examples worked out. Change the sentence to indirect speech. First, what did you eat last night? Asked my mother. Second, do not go out in the sun, said the teacher to the boys. Third, please be seated, said the host to us. Fourth, where do you propose to go tomorrow? Said the employer to him. Fifth, what are you doing here? He cried in a gruff voice. Sixth, I cannot understand why the spring is so late in coming, said the selfish giant. I hope there will be a change in the weather. Seventh, perhaps you have left it in the garden, my aunt would suggest. Eighth, it's yesterday's paper, he would shout, throwing it down upon the table. Ninth, the young woman said, I cannot catch smallpox because I have had cowpox. Everybody in the neighborhood has proved this is to be true. 10th, how selfish I have been, the giant said. Now I know why the spring will not come here. 11th, the teacher said to Mohan, please open the window. 12th, the doctor said, you have a mild attack of rheumatitis. Take an injection. 13th, my garden is my own garden, said the giant. I will allow nobody to play in it but myself. 17th, climb up, little boy, said the giant. 15th, the child asked her mother, do you think it is greedy to ask for more sweets? 16th, the father said, bring me the book, son. 17th, he said to his teacher, my father died last night. 18th, the teacher said to the student, leave this room at once. 19th, George said to Rebecca, I came to India today and I will leave for England tomorrow. 20th, the father said to his son, have you done well in the examination? 21st, let me go, let me go, let me go, I am tired, I cried. 22nd, oh, I am glad, I exclaimed. I had no relations till yesterday, and now I have 3. 23, good morning, Mr. Poole, said Mr. Rosher. How is Molly today? 24, please trust me, B1, Wayne shouted. You will have to trust me. 25th, we have been here for 2 months and are going to stay here for 1 month more, she said. Page number 241. 26th, first, the teacher said to me, have you done the sum? I said, no. The second, good heavens, said the old man, what a shocking news. Third, goodbye, dear friend. Goodbye, dear friend, said the patriot. We will meet again. 4th, Corey. What the hell are you doing, Mrs. Meldon? I'm destroying your foul invention. 27th. First, which do you think is the best Sunday paper? Asked the teacher. Second, he said to her, whose typewriter are you using? Third, how dirty the house is, he observed. 28th. First, which chair am I to sit on? Asked he. Second, she keeps saying that she is a failure. Third, our friend says I have won the match. Fourth, Socrates said that he was a citizen not of Athens but of the world. B. First, but Isaac, said one of them, you have forgotten one thing that belongs to a mill. What is that? Asked Isaac. Why, where is the miller? Said his friend. That is true. I must look for one, said Isaac. Second, then he said to his friend, give me your hand. Fare you well. Grieve not that I am fallen into this misfortune for you. Command me to your wife, and tell her how I have loved her. Third, I say, boys, he cried, I'll be the judge, and you can all bring cases before me, and we'll have trials. Fourth, then Theseus cried, a boon, O Minos, let me be thrown first to the beast, for I came hither for that very purpose, of my own will, and not by lot. Who art thou, brave youth? I am the son of him whom all men thou hates the most, Aegis, the king of Athens, and I am come here to end that matter. Fifth, Alexander said to Porus, how do you desire to be treated? Like a king. And you have nothing else to request, replied Alexander. No. Sixth, swallow, swallow, little swallow, said the prince. Will you not stay with me one night and be my messenger? The boy is so thirsty and the mother is so sad. I don't think I like boys, answered the swallow. But the happy prince looked so sad that the little swallow was sorry. It is very cold here, he said, but I will stay with you for one night and be your messenger. Thank you, little swallow, said the prince. Seventh. And pray, sir, cried my friend, do you want all this money? Indeed, I never wanted it more, returned I. I am sorry for that, cried the scribe. With all my heart, for they who want money when they come to borrow will always want money when they come to pay. 8th. Indeed, Mr. Daybone, cried my friend, I always thought it would come to this. Let me see, you want 200 pounds. Do you only want 200, sir? Exactly. To confess the truth, returned I shall want 300, but then I have another friend from whom I can borrow the rest. 9th. And what do you think about it all, Watson? Asked Sherlock Holmes, leaning back on his chair. It seems to me to be a most dark and sinister business. What about these night-time whistles and very peculiar words of the dying man? 10th. Did you have a nice journey, Mr. David? She asked with her sweet smile. The young man smiled and said, well, neither very pleasant nor very unpleasant. Would you like to have a hot bath immediately or tea first? One would be as good as the other, he said. Page number 242. 11th. Corey. What the hell are you doing? Mrs. Meldon. I am destroying your foul invention. Corey, laughing harshly. That won't destroy it. I have got it all in my head. All that you have done is to make a mess on my floor. 12th. Della. Will you buy my chair? Madam. Yes, I buy here. Take your hat off and let's have a look at it. $20. Della, give it to me quickly. 13th. Where to? She hesitated. Could you recommend a nice, inexpensive hotel? The driver swung around to stare at her appraisingly. You are new in town? Yes. He nodded. You'll be needing a job, I suppose? Yes. 14th. Mayor, have you killed the rats? Piper. Yes, sir, I have. Please let me have the bag of gold. Mayor. No, we can't give you the bag of gold. Piper. Why, sir? Mayor. Because we don't believe you. 15th. The traveller said, Can you tell the way to the nearest inn? Yes, said the peasant. Do you want one in which you can spend the night? No, replied the traveller. I only want a meal. 16th. Policeman B. Would the barrel be a good place to cut a notice up? Sergeant. It might. You can put it there. 17th. Your grandson, said the vendor. Yes, said the old man. The son of my only son. Both my son and his wife were drowned as they worked on our land when the dikes broke. 18th. But are you sure that it's it? That's it? Said Peterkin. Quite sure, replied Jack, for I was particularly interested in the account I read of it, and I remember the description well. I am sorry, however, that I have forgotten the descriptions of many other trees which I am sure we have seen today, if we could not recognize them. So you see, Peterkin, I am not up to everything yet. Never mind, Jack, said Peterkin, with a grave patronizing expression of countenance. Never mind, Jack. You know a good deal for your age. You are a clever boy, sir, a promising young man. Answers. First, my mother asked me what I had eaten the previous night. Second, the teacher told the boy not to go out in the sun. Third, the host requested us to be seated. Fourth, the employer inquired of him where he proposed to go the next day. Fifth, he shouted and asked in a gruff voice what they were doing there. Sixth, the selfish giant said that he could not understand why the spring was so late in coming and hoped there would be a change in the weather. Seventh, my aunt would suggest that perhaps I had left it in the garden. Eighth, he would shout and say that it was the previous day's paper, throwing it down upon the table. Ninth, the young woman said that she could not catch smallpox because she had had cowpox. Everybody in the neighborhood had proved that to be true. 10th, the giant exclaimed that regret that he had been very selfish and said he knew then why the spring would not go there. 11th, the teacher requested Mohan to open the window. 12th, the doctor told him that he had a mild attack of rheumatitis and advised him to take an injection. 13th, the giant said that his garden was his own garden and he would allow nobody to play in it but himself. 14th, the giant encouraged the little boy to climb up. 15th, the child asked her mother if she thought it was greedy to ask for more sweets. 16th, the father asked his son to bring him the book. 17th, he told his teacher that his father had died the previous night. 18th, the teacher ordered the student to leave that room at once. 19th, George told Rebecca that he had come to India that day and he would leave for England the next day. 20th, the father asked his son whether he had done well in the examination. 21st, I requested earnestly to allow me to go as I was tired. 22nd, being overjoyed, I exclaimed with delight that I had no relations till the day before, and then I had 3. 23rd, Mr. Rosher wished Mr. Pole good morning and asked her how Molly was that day. 24th, Wayne pleaded with Bevan that he would have to trust him. 25th. She said that they had been there for 2 months and were going to stay there for 1 more month. 26th. The teacher asked me if I had done the sum. I replied that I had not. 2nd. The old man swore by heavens and exclaimed that with grief that it was a very shocking news. 3rd. Bidding his dear friend goodbye, the patriot said that they would meet again. 4th. Corey swore by hell and demanded to know from Mrs. Milden what she was doing. She replied that she was destroying his foul invention. 27th. First. The teacher asked me which I thought was the best Sunday paper. 2nd. He inquired of her whose typewriter was she using. 3rd. He observed that the house was very dirty. 28th. First. He asked which chair he is to sit on. 2nd. She says, I am a failure, I am a failure. 3rd. Our friend exclaims with joy that he has won the match. 4th. Socrates said, I am a citizen not of Athens but of the world. B. 1. One of them told Isaac that the latter had forgotten one thing that belonged to a mill. Isaac inquired what that was. The friend asked where the miller was. Isaac replied that that was true and he must look for one. 2nd. He then asked his friend to give him his hand, and bidding him farewell, requested him not to grieve that he had fallen into that misfortune but to commend him to his wife and tell her how he had loved him. 3rd. Addressing the boys, he suggested that he would be the judge and they could all bring cases before him and they would have trials. 4th. Addressing Minos, Theseus asked for a boon, to be thrown first to the beast, for he had come thither for that very purpose, of his own will and not by lot. Minos said that he was a brave youth and asked him who he was. Theseus replied that he was the son of him whom of all men Minos hated the most. 5th. Alexander asked Porus how he desired to be treated. Porus replied that he desired to be treated like a king. Alexander further asked if Porus had nothing else to request. Porus replied that he had no other request. 6th. The prince appealingly asked the swallow if the latter would not stay with him one night and be his messenger. He reminded the swallow that the boy was so thirsty and the mother was so sad. The swallow replied that he did not think he liked boys, but the happy prince looked so sad that the little swallow was sorry. So he said again that he thought it was very cold there. He would stay with the prince for one night and be his messenger. The prince thanked the little swallow. 7th. My friend asked me politely if I wanted all that money. I replied that I had never wanted it more. The scrivener said that he was sorry for that with all his heart, for they who wanted money when they came to borrow would always want money when they came to pay. 8th. Addressing me by my name, my friend said that he had always thought it would come to that. Requesting me for time to prove that, he said I wanted 200 pounds, but he inquired if I wanted only 200 exactly. I replied that to confess the truth, I should want 300, but I had another friend from whom I could borrow the rest. 9th. Leaning back on his chair, Sherlock Holmes asked Watson what he thought about it all. Watson replied that it seemed to him to be a most dark and sinister business. Sherlock Holmes then wanted to know from Watson what he thought about those night-time whistles and a very peculiar words of the dying man.